then most important one is the genital causes. Now we see genital causes. Ovarian causes, cervical causes, tubal causes, uterine causes. Commonest cause in the female is ovarian causes, where you are well aware if there is no ovulation, no ova, there will be no pregnancy. So anovulation or anovulatory cycles. Next important in this is corpus luteum inadequacy. If corpus luteum is not sufficiently secreting hormone progesterone, so which is required for the first month or first 3 months of the pregnancy to maintain it. If it is inadequate, then there will be early pregnancy. So this is one of the important cause called as corpus luteum phase defect or corpus luteum inadequacy. Third one is important here is the polycystic ovarian disease. It's a syndrome of heterogeneous character where multiple cysts develops in the periphery of the ovary. It causes again anovulation. So deficient ova will not cause infertility. We'll study this in detail in our next lectures. So PCOD. Then comes infections, inflammations, some allergic responses, some pelvic pathologies, some ovarian pathologies, infections, benign tumors as well as malignancy in the ovary, which will definitely work through infertility. Here, ovarian benign tumors and some germinomas, some cancers. Definitely ovarian tumors will not cause the fertility. Chronic oophorydes or TO mass, we say it as a TO mass, that is infections of the fallopian tube as well as ovary togetherly form a mass, which will again disturb the normal patency of the fallopian tube as well as normal physiology of the ovary. So this is the basic causes related to ovary which are important one. Then cervical causes. Cervical causes, here anatomical causes, physiological causes, pathological causes in the cervix itself. We say cervix should be very good estrogenic. The mucus of the cervix should be very normal, or we can say it should be good mucus. Good mucus means good estrogenic effect in the mucus so that the normal plug is formed at the cervix and it allows the normal forward entry of the sperm. So good estrogenic effects of cervical mucus, this is the physiological cause. If mucus is not normal, so it will not cause the give the entry to the sperm, thereby causing infertility. Anatomically, cervical ectropia, hypertrophic elongation of cervix, so hypoplasia, aplasia, these are the anatomical defects which will again cause infertility. Then pathological causes. This is again infection, that is cervicitis, that is inflammation of the cervical tissues. Then if cervicitis became chronic, it is called as a chronic cervicitis. If it is not treated, it may land up into cervical erosion. So cervical erosion is also one of the important cause. Cervical erosion. Itis. Itis you will apply everywhere. Okay, cervicitis, oophorytis, fallopian tube if it is there, salpingitis, uterus if it is affected, it is endometritis. So all inflammation and everywhere in the female genital tract as well as pelvis. Female pelvis में perimetritis, parametritis, so cellulitis, that is tissue affections also work through the normal functioning of the tract. So cervical erosion and definitely CA cervix, but will not consider mature infertility because this is a disease mostly after 40. Naturally, women is infertile after the age of 40-45. Still, in writing for theory, should consider CA cervix is also one of the cause for infertility in female. So this is all about cervical, anatomical, physiological, pathological causes. Now we'll shift to the tubal cause. This is most important one. Always tube should be patent. What do you call it? For tube patency, patency should be there for the normal fertilization, as we have already seen that fertilization takes place in the ampoule of the fallopian tube. So tubal patency for that tubal causes. Basically already we have seen that tubal spasm may cause sometime false positive result. Then blockages, which may be congenital or acquired infections which may cause tubal mucosa block, and there is occlusion. So tubal occlusion, salpingitis, tubal occlusion, which may be due to, most of the time it is acquired due to tuberculosis called as tuberculous salpingitis, is another important cause of infertility in tube. Then there may be low forward motility of the cilia of the fallopian tube. This is a physiopathological due to some chronic infections. So PID is again important in that salpingitis. So salpingitis, chronic tubercular or staphylococcal, and which may cause blockage and affecting infertility. Uterine causes. Now, if uterus basic anatomical defects, say bicornuate, septate, where we can say two septas, these two septas or two bicornuates. So this is the anatomical defect. So lot of congenital defects and developmental defects will cause infertility or abortion early. Then after the anatomical or congenital defects, we will again see the which one? Infectious causes, PID. Now tuberculosis, endometritis, infections of the endometrium, inner linings of the uterus due to tuberculosis or any other staphylococcus infections. So this, but mostly we will consider tuberculous endometritis is dangerous, so that there will be no proper bed for the fertilized zygote to get a plant over there. Then uterine polyps. This is the pedunculated growth of mucus, enlargement of the tissues, and which will become polyploidal. So uterine polyp, fibromyoma of uterus, one of the most important commonest tumor, benign tumor of the uterus. So this is multiple or single fibroid, will definitely interfere with the fertility. We have seen causes of abortion, you must be known. Second trimester abortion, the important cause of second trimester abortion is fibromyoma of uterus, because fibroid as well as fetus, if they are growing together, there will be no proper room for the embryo to develop further, and this is one of the important cause, fibromyoma or multiple fibroids in the uterus. Similarly, cancer of endometrium, so endometrial cancer. Now we have seen main causes, uterine causes, ovarian causes, tubal causes, cervical causes. Few causes like in the vulva and vagina. So sometimes they will affect like hypoplasia of the vulva, vagina, aplasia, hypoplasia. So these are the anatomical defects: vaginal stenosis, ectropion, and aplasia, hypoplasia, stenosis. So any further injuries which will affect for fertility. So here we end the female causes of infertility. Now we'll see the investigations of the female infertility. Investigations for female infertility, very important. As you know, ovary forms the ova, and ova is responsible for fertility. Now we have to see ovarian causes, if it is functioning normal or not, ova. So we have to go for test called as ovulation test. We have to search whether the ovulation is occurring or not. So there are certain tests, 2 to 3 tests, through which we can diagnose whether ovulation is present or not in a female. Basal body temperature, BBT. Then serial ultrasonography for follicular study. Then so 4 ovulation tests are important: basal body temperature, follicular study to find out the dominant follicle, whether it is growing or not, through the serial ultrasonography. Endometrial biopsy, after the curettings, the tissue biopsy material is sent to the histopathology where we can confirm whether ovulation is occurring or not. Serum progesterone should be more than 20 μg per ml. Now these are the 4 basic tests for finding the ovulation, whether present or not. So we will see one by one. Basal body temperature. This you must be remembering, you have studied in first year in physiology, basal body temperature. Now earlier this was a test used to perform to find out the day of ovulation. Nowadays it is less reliable, so nobody advises it, but still you should know it. So basal body temperature, where a woman is advised to take her daily oral temperature in morning after waking. When she is still in the bed, before coming out of the bed, she should take her regular oral temperature and she should record it daily and she should maintain the graph. Now, if she is having normal menstrual cycle of 28 days, on the ovulation day, it is found that temperature drops by 0.5 degree Fahrenheit. Temperature drops on the day, if it is of 14th day, it drops by 0.5 degree Fahrenheit and then it raises to 1.5 to 1 degree Fahrenheit. Now, at this point, if after the ovulation, if fertilization occurs, this temperature is maintained because of thermogenic effect of hormone progesterone, which is secreted by the hormone luteinizing. This is the luteinizing phase. Progesterone secreted by corpus luteum. After the fertilization, we know corpus luteum of pregnancy forms and it maintains the pregnancy, whereby this progesterone is released and it has a thermogenic effect. So temperature is raised, 0.1 degree is maintained. Now if there is no fertilization, temperature falls. If there is no fertilization, this 0.5 to 1 degree temperature falls, and then she can continue with the next menstrual cycle, again recording of the temperature. But it is not reliable, as if she suffers from naturally fever or some temperature, she cannot judge. Plus daily oral temperature without waking, brushing, sometimes she will